do that against St Helens, that is for sure.
James Child is the referee, waiting for the nod to get this game underway in front of this massive crowd. The Saints outnumbered in terms of supporters, but it's the 17 men who are doing duty in the red with the white V for the Saints that are important here tonight. And there's Lafranchi of the Saints taking the first tackle of the match. St Helens will want to start quickly. Wigan usually do. Roby is in there at dummy half. Gets the ball infield. Here's big Josh Perry.
Good solid work as well by Perry. That's what you need to really lift your spirits early in the game, when your forwards can get over the advantage line with considerable ease. They really have got to muscle up. Interesting there you see number 15, Stuart Fielden. He will be rusty. Saints will pinpoint him.
He will be rusty, but he'll be dead keen. Lomax gets the kick away under pressure from Sean O'Loughlin. And here comes Josh Charnley, the Super League top try scorer, 4 ahead of the man who gave him the pass. That's Sam Tompkins. Richards is back for Wigan. Important that he's out there for the playoffs, as it is that Luluwai has returned at just the right time for the Wigan Warriors. And there is Luluwai. He pops the ball up to Harrison Hansen. He goes down on tackle number 3. Finch will give it some air and finds Carmont. That's a good tackle. That's a very good tackle by Lomax.
It had to be as well. You can see that the Wigan, realising that they've got that spreading defence in Saints. It was a quick pass out wide, but Lomax was equal to the task. Oh, great hold!
It was by Melly, and he got it away to the youngster Josh Jones. Only his second meeting with Wigan this year. And he finds Wilkin now from the play the ball. Wilkin is halted by the Wigan defenders.
It's good to see those St Helens. They often do it. The centre, Josh Jones, he goes out onto the wing, and you'll find that Francis Melly comes in into that centre. He's such a big unit, is Melly, that he can get the halfway through and he can offload, as he's just done.
Wellens gets the ball away to Shenton. That's a very good tackle on the run by Carmont. And now it's Makinson with a scamper from dummy half. He's trapped on the last tackle, 22 metres away from the Wigan line. There's Flanagan. Here's Lomax, changes the direction off the outside of the boot. Don't think Makinson was reading the script, or was he? Carmont gets to it.
They didn't expect that, Wigan. They really got fooled by it, because Lomax then just kicked off out of the side of the boot, went back into the right corner when Wigan thought it was going into the left hand.
And St Helens having the better part of the early stages. They've returned serve. The kick tennis is going in St Helens' favour. They've made a clear break. You know, Francis Melly is an unsung hero for me for St Helens. He has that ability to win games. He's already made one clean break, and St Helens have just edged Wigan in that defensive battle and got kicked and got Wigan at the other end of the field.
But here they come in the shape of Sam Tompkins. It took 3 to bring him down. Melly and Ohio, who was receiving treatment in back play. It's the last tackle, though, for Wigan. The kick has to be good. It's not the best from Tommy Luluwai. And Makinson will run it back. Oh, and that was a swinging arm by O'Loughlin.
Yeah, he didn't miss it.
Makinson was slipping and sliding, but he didn't miss.
No, he made contact, that's for sure. The swinging arm, there was intent there. That was not an impulsive reaction to the swinging arm. He knew what he was doing. Well, that has set the scene. This is going to be tasty.
It's massive, Eddie, for St Helens to start a set of 6 tackles inside Wigan's half. When teams have lost to them this year, they've been spending too long in their own half of the field without sight of that try line, and now they're getting close to it. This gives them a much better chance tonight.
Self-confessed St Helens fanatic Mike Rush watching on as Lomax attacks this line, gives it to Ohio, who will poke his nose through.
Good dummy, but good tackle by Finch. Wasn't going to be fooled by that.
Good progress made here by Saints. Roby gets the ball to Lafranchi, and Lafranchi looking to spin and turn, but loses the ball. Wigan come up with the possession.
Oh, you've got to keep control of it. And Frankie really had that opportunity. They were setting up. They also had the man there to go through. Lomax was screaming for the ball. It was obviously going to be a kick after this one. Why he tried to offload is anybody's guess.
Mike, I was really surprised on that attacking set. St Helens went to their right, which is Wigan's left, and the target looked like it was going to be Brett Finch, the half-back. I thought they would have gone the other way and tried to go through or go over Thomas Luluai. He's been out for an awful long time.
Luluai gets the short ball away. That's a great run from Harrison Hansen. Dropped to the ground by Perry. Could have been penalised. The crowd screaming for a whistle from the referee. Non-forthcoming. Finch with the kick. It's straight into the arms of Helens, who'll try and return this.
Oh, he's got to be very careful. Sean O'Loughlin, that's the second occasion. OK, it was more of a grab on that would-be attempted tackle.
Well, you said, one of the three of you said it looks like it might be getting just a little bit tasty. Remember, the last time they played each other in the Super League at the Magic Weekend, the referee that day producing 3 red cards, and it didn't go St Helens' way at all on the scoreline either.
But, Eddie, no one from either side can afford to get a red card and be off. You never know what you're going to get when you go to the RFL on Tuesday afternoons, and no one wants a suspension got on, on the road to Old Trafford.
What a great kick, and what a wonderful chase. Oh, that's silly, that's a penalty. Well, he's got it away. He lashed out to Sam Tompkins. Ran to Hire, said, hang on, I was the one that caught it in the mush. He didn't like the fact that O'Hire went in with the left knee. That's the reason why James Child was quick to give the penalty to Wigan. Well, Wigan.
Josh Jones almost stole the ball then from Sam Tompkins, and Sam had a bit of a left hook at him. Fortunately missed, but gets the penalty. And this is Jeff Lima for the Wigan Warriors.
Sean Wayne's got to get the message out to his charges as well. 2 very, very poor kicks. They've not been able to turn around the winger, especially the fullback Paul Helens. You've got to be able to do that.
McIlorum gets the ball into centre field, and Lima picks himself up after the tackle. Plays the ball. Here's O'Loughlin. There's Finch. Cut out pass and finds Carmont. Here goes Richards. Shenton gets to him, and Lee loses the ball as well. Great tackle from Shenton, that.
Puts his arm up. There's the big fella, Pat Richards. Tried to fend it away and just lost control when the ball cannon arm hit the deck.
Well, how St Helens defend against that play will possibly determine whether they win this match. If you remember back to the Magic Weekend and other times when they've played St Helens, that way they pass the ball, they have lots of decoys and options, find the overlap, particularly on this left-hand side of the field. Saints did enough to get back, but they will be contested here for the next 70 minutes or so with that style of play.
St Helens winning home and away in playoff ties against Wigan last year. Identical scores as well, 26-18 here and at Widnes, where they were playing, of course, in 2011. But they've been made to pay a bit, haven't they, in 2012?
I get the impression that Wigan are very, very nervous.
I don't see why they should be nervous, Steve-o. They've won the League Leaders' Shield. Saints have got it all to do. They've got it all to play for tonight.
I think they've also got a little bit of the memory of last weekend, Eddie, is the fact that, Hulkington Rovers took them apart early in the game.
That's a great kick. That's a wonderful kick.
It's a try.
It's a mistake from Tompkins. He came up with a few of them early in the piece at Hull KR as well.
Charlie to the rescue. Well, the one thing about Sam Tompkins, if he's going to do something bad, he makes it really look bad, doesn't he? Just slips here, loses control. Good job that Josh Charlie was there.
Well, there's some lunatic in the crowd. You might have seen some green flashes towards the bottom of the screen there, and someone's got one of those laser pen things they brought into the ground, and that could be very, very dangerous as far as the players are concerned.
Well, we have seen it happen in the past, and let's hope that the idiot is removed from the ground as quickly as possible.
Well, the ground staff, the stewards have seen what's going on over there, and they're looking for the culprit, and it looks like there's a supporter, quite rightly, pointing out who it might be. You can do without all that nonsense. Here goes Lafranchi again, was missed the first tackle, but he gets the ball away. Flanagan gets it to Shenton.
Oh, good step as well. Got to get the numbers there. Got to try to get up and play the ball a little bit quicker than that for Shenton.
This is Perry. Perry goes down 20 metres away from the line. Will play the ball here to Roby, and Roby finds Lomax. They're going down that left-hand side with O'Hire. He finds Helens.
Came a little bit too early to the fullback Helens there. Ohio wanted to come a little bit later.
Frankie almost put the ball down, and there was a screen from the terraces of forward, not given by the referee. It's Roby to Ohio. Solid Wigan defence. That's where they've been so impressive this year.
Got to be a kick away.
And the kick does get away to Sam Tompkins. He uses the post to good effect then. And actually there's a collision with the post and they're waddling away.
Great positional play by Sam Tompkins.
Now St Helens are pinged for not standing square at the play of the ball.
Well, they don't score here and they give away a penalty, but in my opinion, Eddie, that's the best 10 minutes that St Helens have started against Wigan this year. They've looked competitive physically, they've played with great field position, they've been most of the time down near Wigan's half of the field, and we're 10 minutes in and it's still 0-0, but they must be happy with the way they've begun this match.
You're right, Phil, and mainly that's been brought about because their kick and chase game is far superior than the home side at the moment. That has to improve if Wigan's got to get back into this match.
That was a solid run from Harris and Hansen, and here comes another drive in as well from Jeff Lima.
You're all right that the 10 minutes so far for me have all been St Helens. They've had 2 chances to score at Wigan's line and haven't been able to get them. Let's see what they can do in defence now, because for the first time in the opening part of this game, Wigan are in good ball and they've got great shape.
They have, and they're with Luluai here inside the 20. Gets a short pass away to Harrison Hansen, who's looked dangerous on these runs down the right-hand side. Saints muscle up in defence. 4 tackles gone, 2 remaining. Here is Luluai. Luluai's through! Try for Thomas Luluai! Crowning his return to the side. Came back as a substitute last week. His first start since the Catalan Dragons game away from home in June. It might have been a good opening 10 for St Helens, but when Wigan threatened with Luluai, there are problems for any defence, and Luluai has given Wigan the lead.
A great foil, Michael McAlorum. Brett Finch was screaming for it on the open side. Luluai stood back on the blind side, and they didn't move up quick enough. Through the dummy, what a fend. Get out of the way. Superstar, what's a fend here? Nothing's going to stop him. Pulitulia couldn't do it. Mr. Wiggins enjoyed that.
Yeah, Bradley on his feet because of the Luluai try. First blood to the league leaders. Thomas Luluai's try. He has been missed badly by Wigan, despite the fact that they finished top of the table. Both Luluai and Richards here is going to be kicking this first attempted goal. They have been missed by Wigan. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They've managed to paper over the cracks somehow, but they're 2 influential players. Richards will be here next year. Luluai won't be. In fact, Luluai, one of several stars of this Wigan side, moving on or retiring come the end of the year. And Richards. That's why he is invaluable. He kicks them from everywhere. 6-0 Wigan.
Tremendous play on that short blind side. As I say, the hooker, Michael McAlorum. But on that open side, Brett Finch was screaming for the football. And never underestimate this little halfback, Thomas Luluai, his upper body strength to be able to just push away Pulitulia with so much ease. Just makes you wonder how many hours has he spent in the gymnasium.
Well, I'm sure he's absolutely flogged himself to get him back to that level. But in a game of this magnitude, at this level of football, that try was simply too easy. Tony Pulitulia couldn't have got that more wrong if he'd have deliberately tried to. Wrong shoulder, wrong position, and Thomas Luluai, who I don't think has made a tackle in the game so far, simply strolled over.
13 minutes gone then. Wigan ahead by 6 points to 0. Remember, next weekend St Helens will embark on their quest to get to a 7th consecutive grand final. Wigan looking to get back there again. Tompkins, that's off the feet. That's going to be play on, is it?
Yes, it's play on. He's got that right as James Child, the official.
You don't think the ball was in front of him when it went forward?
I think he flipped it back.
He's offside. I'm sure he kicks the ball and the man's in front when it's hit his foot.
I think that's the report he's just got from his touch judge. It's a bit late, the call.
He's offside.
Yes, he was.
Well, he flicks the foot back, doesn't he?
This is that familiar play that Wigan do, create the overlap on the left-hand side. Tompkins tries to get it round, but it clearly comes off his foot. I think he's in front. Well, the touch judge has made an instant call, Mike.
Yep.
Rightly or wrongly, he's gone with that decision.
But did Richards actually overrun the man, and did that not put him back on side?
It looked all right as far as I'm concerned, but the touch judge, we often complain about them not being involved in the game and not concentrating. Well, he certainly did on that occasion, and that is a huge let-off for St Helens.
Very solid the Wigan defence looks so far. Lafranchi gets it to Lomax, to O'Hare. Here's Wilkin. Then he finds Hughes. Josh Jones, rather.
There's a St Helens player. He's got absolutely flattened as he offloaded that ball.
And he brings them back here for a penalty, I think.
Yeah, he's seen it. He wanted to allow the advantage. Now then, the official has seen it.
What was it? A late charges after the ball had gone?
Yeah, he sort of offloaded there, and who's it going to be? Is it McAlorum?
He's called him out to him, McAlorum.
That one was late.
Well, we'll see it on the head-on shot. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
Well, the referee wants a word.
Okay, it's not marginal. You've clearly gone out.
It's got to be a red card, Eddie. There's no other colour.
Directly to the head.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
There is no other colour.
He's gone to his back pocket. You're right, he's off. McAlorum is sent off by James Child. Sent off in the 6th minute of the home defeat by the Saints in 2008. Sadly for Wigan and Michael McAlorum, history repeats itself. 15 and a half minutes this time.
Well, he can shake his head all he wants, but that is bad. The crowd here are booing, saying that the official has got it wrong, but he hasn't. That is red card all over it, and I've got to congratulate the official. He didn't hesitate, went right for the back pocket. McAlorum can shake his head as much as he wants, swinging arm after the ball had gone. He's paid the price.
And I think at the moment he's on the touchline. He has to go into the dressing room to get out of the way. Sent off for the 2nd time on this ground this year, Michael McAlorum. Wigan will have to play with 12 men for well over an hour. Is that the Saints' chance? Well, that isn't.
That was poor play. Poor play. One thought he was going to be a dummy runner. He wasn't. He was supposed to get it. He never had his hands there.
And that was the 3rd try-scoring opportunity that St Helens have had so far in the game, and they've turned the ball over meekly and mildly and given possession back to Wigan, and now commit the next sin and give a penalty away.
Finch wanted a quick tap. The official said, I'm not having it. Well done, Mr. Child. Bring him out. Let's have a little bit of a shall we say, a leveller. Keep calm.
Talking about keep calm, Stuart Fielding has just been withdrawn by his coach Sean Wayne and has come on spitting feathers. I don't think he wanted to leave the field somehow.
We've got the penalty. Leave it at that.
But it was always going to be a tough ask for him.
A penalty to Wigan after all that. And by the way, a little sideline on the McAlorum send-off. He can't take an early guilty plea. He has to go before the disciplinary committee on Tuesday. So that incident, that send-off, could have major repercussions for Michael McAlorum and for Wigan in the playoffs.
And the sad part about it is that McAlorum has been in outstanding form this year. So much so that I thought that he could very well push himself for a place inside into the England squad.
Stuart Fielding looks like he's just had the reason why he's been withdrawn explained to him.
That could be really smart work from Sean Wayne. They're down to 12 men. He has to rotate his props, and no, they're going to be tested all the way in that middle section, especially if they keep giving the ball away like that so cheaply. But Sean Wayne needs to keep rotating those forwards, keep them fresh, because St Helens, I'm sure, are going to try and make them pay the price for the McAlorum high tackle.
Well, with Wigan down to 12, that surprised me that Gareth Hogg tried to over an offload in an impossible situation. What they needed to do was just camp down there, make sure the kick and chase game was good, and apply the pressure to Saints.
Let's get down to Bill. News of Stuart Fielding.
Well, Eddie, you touched on it. He's absolutely livid, and he's still trying to find out exactly why he's been taken off the field. Obviously, just back after nearly 2 years out has got something to do with it. But also, he was absolutely furious at the sending off of Michael McIlroy, was looking to confront the referee at one point, I think, with somebody at least. So possibly it might have been just to get him out of harm's way at the moment, because it is pretty fiery out there.
Yes, it is. Stuart Fielden, known once upon a time as the 80-minute man, of course, with such a lengthy layoff because of injury. He is feeling his way back into the match quite naturally.
Well, that was a silly play yet again from St. Helens. They're just not getting themselves organised. Are they going to be a dummy runner? You've always got to be aware. If the ball's going to be there, take it.
Mike, is that the 4th error in good ball? Stuart Fielden again still wanting to get back into the action at some point.
That was his reaction to the knock-on.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get some more game time, but you know, St. Helens 4 times in good ball, 4 try-scoring positions and 4 cheap turnovers.
I mean, fair play to Sean Wayne, by the way, as regards the Stuart Fielden inclusion tonight. He's offered him the opportunity to put himself in the shop window here. He wants a new contract at Wigan, which expires at the end of this campaign. If he can't convince the powers that be here that he's worth that, well, maybe he can convince somebody else.
Well, the thing is, I may be wrong on this count, Eddie, but I didn't see Stuart Fielden take the ball up once in his short period. He worked hard in defence, that's for sure. Come up with a couple of good tackles, but I never saw him take the ball up. Maybe that's the reason why Sean Wayne has briefed him off.
I'll tell you what, the very last things you ever want to see as a coach is someone who wants to come off the field. You know, Stuart Fielden's laid a marker there. Maybe it's the frustration, Mike, of not being in that position to get enough good carries, get a real feel of the game, and he just feels himself a little bit undone. But I'm sure we're going to see more of him as the game moves on.
Fielden, by the way, when he left the field, was the top tackler for Wigan. Midway through this first half, St. Helens with 13 against Wigan with 12. Michael McIlroy sent off, and it's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook here for the Saints. In centre field, Paul Clough.
Good tactics by St. Helens, using the forwards, going down the middle. They know that Wigan are down to 12. Little kick into the corner. It's a good chase again. That'll be one thing that their coach Mike Rush will be very, very pleased with. Oh, look at that! They dropped the ball. Was that a knock? No, he's got it. He's given a penalty.
He's given a penalty for a steal on Josh Charnley.
Melly, is he pulling at the ball? It didn't appear to be that way.
Can anybody explain to me what the difference is as far as this is concerned and the Ben Jeffries incident we saw at Odsal last weekend?
Well, I think on that one, he was being pulled to the touchline. I don't like it at all, regardless of whether the referees were right last week or this week. I think it rewards weak attack and weak carries of a ball, and I think we should reward good, aggressive, clinical defence.
And not only that, it confuses the viewers, it confuses the fans, and confuses the players.
Referee's just called time off while Lance O'Hire sweeps one extra football that's been thrown out on to the field off the pitch. So here we go again. This is Mossop. I think Gil Dudson is out there as well for the Wigan Warriors, wearing 22. And here's another Wigan forward who is trying to play his way back into the team for the playoffs. This is Tompkins, though.
Eddie, the hooker, or the number 9, the man who stands behind the play of the ball, is probably the most important player in a rugby league team. When he gets sent off for your side, it will inevitably take a period of time for you to adjust. Now, for Wigan, they have to make that adjustment pretty quick, otherwise the game ticks over. They seem to be coping quite well with it and still creating this massive overlap on the left.
That was forward. Well spotted.
He saw it. Finch's pass to Gareth Hock was forward.
Yep. Just delayed it slightly.
And just going back to Phil's point about the hooker, they've got a New Zealand international hooker in Thomas Luluai.
Yeah, of course they have.
Who will fill in there, I'm sure.
And it's interesting to note as well.
That might negate his effectivity as a halfback.
I said before the game started that Brett Finch, there's the man, that this fella, the combination of the halfbacks was in the early part of the season, they were the best 2 halfbacks in Super League, without a doubt. But he's going to have to change the routine now. Thomas Luluai and Sam Tompkins has got to jump in to the dummy half position.
Lomax with a little dummy. Gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Tompkins gets to him eventually. 20 metres away. The Saints with O'Hire, now Clough. That's 2 tackles gone. Big test of this Wigan defence now. Down in numbers. Here's Pulatua. 1 tackle missed. Reinforcements come. Great slip pass. Wonderful try from Roby. Great offload by Pulatua. Great support from Roby. And James Roby underneath the sticks on his 23rd consecutive appearance. And an omen maybe for the Saints. He got tries in wins here in 2007, 2008 and 2010. Has he got a try in what might be a win in 2012 at long last?
Well, Pulatua, and this is the forward pass. Not good play there by Brett Finch. Delayed it. Well, Pulatua, he was at fault that allowed Thomas Luluai to fend him off, but he has repaid his coach Mike Rush with a beautiful twist in the tackle and then offload. As every hooker worth his salt in the game of rugby league is support play, and this support play from James Roby. There are the 2 coaches. They'll be happy. It's all level. Game on.
Level courtesy of the boot of Tommy Makinson. 6 apiece. Wigan and Saints.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Sean Wayne now adapts. There's Tony Pulatua just breaking that early collision, and James Roby, who actually passed the ball from the dummy half position, backed up on the inside and scored that vital equalising try. But whether Wigan now operate with Finch or Luluai running from dummy half, or possibly even Sean O'Loughlin, I'll think they'll swap between the 3 pivot players who gets into dummy half, because Thomas Luluai has been missing for a long time. Hard enough playing scrum half, it's going to be nigh on impossible to play at hooker, dummy half and defend in the middle of the field as well.
A tale of 2 hookers so far, isn't it? 25 minutes or thereabouts on the watch. Michael McAlorum, the Wigan hooker, sent off. James Roby, the Saints hooker, with the equalising try. 6-all.
It's an automatic reaction, you know, when your opposition, you get a man sent off, they think that you just spread the ball continually. They say you got the overlap, and you could see that St Helens will try to do it now, but in that build-up there, that was right close in. Good, hard, solid work by Pulatua that created the try.
And that was a very good tackle by Charnley on Dixon as well, because there was a man on the far side standing with half of the field ahead of him and a clear run to the line. This is the last tackle. They're going down that way again. Then Wilkins' kick will change the direction. It's a good kick too. It bounces away from Tompkins, and again it bounces away. But he gets to it eventually, and Saints get to him eventually.
Well, you only allowed the ball for 6 tackles in this game, and if you haven't scored a try, you generally have to kick it to the opposition. When St Helens have kicked it, how often has it bounced or landed close to Wigan's try line? And that's the key if St Helens want to win this game. They need to maintain doing that and then strike and take their chances when they're presented.
I think you're absolutely right there, Phil. You've nailed it. And the fact that the ball has bounced. Tompkins and the Wigan Winkers aren't catching this on the full and returning with interest.
Mossop drives it forward on the last tackle, though. Wigan still inside their own half. The kick from Finch has to be good. It's straight down the middle and straight down the throat of Wellens.
And again, poor kicking by the Wigan outfit. It must be concerning the coach, Sean Wayne. They normally control it, and when you're down to 12 men, you've got to make sure that it gets into the corner.
The ball from Shenton finds Flanagan. Just a little bit of ground ahead of him. Quickly closed down by the Wigan skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. There's Roby. Now it's Lomax. Just saw a gap and he went for it. Dodson, though, and Hansen combined to bring the scrum half down. Gets to his feet wearily. Dixon, Melly. Hangs on. That's the last for Saints. It's with Wilkin again. Oh, and he skips away from a would-be tackle, a left-footed crossfield kick. High. Wellens is after it. Oh, they've made a mess of it, Wigan. And Richards just palms the ball over the dead ball line. He'll bring them back, though. Applause from Mike Rush for the kick and the chase.
Well, there was no call. No call at all.
He won't give the goal line dropout, though, because it was a knock-on first, and so he'll give St Helens the head and feet at the scrum 10 metres out. Good decision by James Child, the referee.
Eddie, I said early in the piece that Wigan looked very, very nervous, that even more so now with the fact that Michael McAlorum sent off. They're hesitating. There's no conversation between the players. They've got to get it sorted.
Well, physically, St Helens are competing in this game in all the little aggressive battles that are taking place, and they look dangerous from a previous scrum play. Had a bit of a run around and some decoy options. So you can put one on here and score when it matters. Mark Flanagan looks like he's got to leave the field here. Blood on his shirt. And they're pretty skin tight, these jerseys these days, so they've ripped it off as quick as they can.
Wigan legends in the crowd. Jason Robinson chatting to Andrew Farrell. Chris Ashton is somewhere there, and so too is Andrew's son Owen. Coming to learn a thing or two.
Oh, don't worry, Eddie. They'll be itching. They wish they were out there. This wonderful crowd. Great atmosphere.
It is, and Joel Tompkins is here as well, watching brother Sam. And that's a good dart in by Josh Jones.
Pretty
They're
slow.
watching their old club here, having to defend their line vigorously, and that's what Luluai's just done, a big hit. And with Dodson,
Blindsides an opportunity. Will
Clough.
Roby go for it?
Clough hit
No.
the deck. It's with Roby, it's with Lomax. It finds Lansohire, good hands. Shenton, can he funnel it out wide to Makinson? Yes, he can, and they're in again in the corner. That's a great try.
He'll go upstairs, though. There's a bit of a bobble. Makinson lunged with the right arm. He's pretty confident he got it down. And the slow-mo will tell you, he looks to have control, and that's try time. Great finish. Quick hands, good work by Michael Shenton. Shenton straightened up, dragged in the tackle, and then had the ability to offload. That little step from Michael Shenton is sufficient to allow the winger, Makinson. This will be confirmation. There it is, TRY.
Yes, a green light for Tommy Makinson. You will all remember, I'm sure, if you think back to the match at Headingley against Leeds, the wonderful try he scored in similar circumstances in the corner earlier this year. Makinson, he's only 20 years of age, but that's his 10th try of the campaign. He's a real star, young star. Great try in the corner for Saints. They nudge ahead against their old enemies.
Great work by the two halfbacks. Great stuff. Lomax, O'Hire dragged in that defence. Remember, they're one man down, so they've got to get out of the blocks quickly. But they've got to get that overlap, and that's what they look at that. See that in and out from Shenton was sufficient. He squeezes in the corner. Has he added the two?
You bet he has. What a kick from Makinson. 6-0 Wigan. It's now 12-6 to Saints.
The big play, that big shift left to right across the field. Look, it's on the 20-metre mark, left-hand side of the field. So this ball has moved 48 metres, and it's scored within 6 centimetres of the far flag. That's great width, it really is, and Wigan are trying to cover that with a man down.
And great precision from the man who's measuring everything, Paul Cullen. 48 metres, 6 centimetres in.
I was looking for the ruler at one point. But it was great work, and you've got to hand it to the way that Shenton did it. And they've got the overlap here.
They have. It's Makinson, but that was quickly brought to ground.
Look at the bottom of the screen there. This game's a territorial battle, and St Helens are clearly winning it. Play the balls in the opposition half, almost 5 times as many. And that's because of the control of the kick. But I think because physically they've been aggressive enough to cope with Wigan here today.
And the St Helens supporters are starting to sing when the Saints go marching in. They've waited all year to be in this situation, but with only half an hour gone, there's a long way to go. And Wilkin with a hopeful punt down the centre of the field, and it trickles dead.
They won't mind that either, and neither will Wilkin. He realises they can just get their defence on that 30-metre line. The interesting now that Wigan, of course, Sean Wayne, their coach, realises they can't use a sliding defence with one man down. They've got to go to what you call a man-on-man marking and hope that you can move across quickly to shut out the two centres and the two wingers.
The Wigan Warriors coming into this match with high hopes that they'd score the 24 points needed to break the 1,000-point barrier for the season. No Wigan side has done that in Super League previously. But at the moment, they've got a real fight on their hands to try and get back in this match. That's a great tackle from Lomax. Quick play the ball, though, by Carmont to Tompkins. He then pops it up for Liam Farrell.
And that's what the fullback Sam Tompkins has got to do a lot of now. He's got to jump in there very quickly, try to get his players, is getting the kick away. That's better. It's the first time during this game they've turned him around. They've got good territory. They'll try to force the error. He really has to get a grip of this now, Sam Tompkins. He's the man.
Sean O'Loughlin had to just delay his run there because he was in front of the kicker. So there was no pressure on Paul Wellens. The ball was allowed to trickle its way over the sideline.
I think this is only the second time we've seen Wigan at this end of the field. The Wigan Warriors think tank there, you can see in full flow, trying to work out what they're going to do with the dismissal of Michael McAlory and how Wigan are going to handle moving forward from that dummy half position. I think Wigan have been down here twice now. They scored once. On this occasion, it's even more important for me now. Defend well, don't give a penalty away, and try and restrict St Helens on their kick. The Wigan kicking game has been nowhere near as good as the St Helens kicking game so far in this match.
Roby at dummy half for the Saints. Here comes McCarthy Scarsbrook. Gets to his feet, plays the ball to Roby. Roby goes for a 40-20. It was a hopeful one. It's a very lush surface here at the DW Stadium. Tompkins is able to pick it up on bounce number 3.
But yet again, they are getting it onto terra firma. They're getting the opportunity to turn the man around, Sam Tompkins, with good thinking, kicking on the 3rd. No one at home.
Great tactics, Mike, breaking up the completion, breaking up the kicking game. There's one thing you absolutely do not want against Wigan is Sam Tompkins catching the ball on the full with an open field. That was measured, that was turn him around, let the ball bounce and have a 4-5-man chase team.
Here's Tompkins again. Wilkin missed him, but he wasn't missed by the next man in, who I think was Mark Flanagan. Of course, St Helens win here at Wigan. They'll finish in 3rd place. It means they go to Warrington next weekend in the playoffs, and St Helens the only team to beat Warrington on their own ground this year.
And again, a better kick. This time from Brett Finch, and the chase was very, very good. Good work there by Liam Farrell. Now then, can they squeeze this ball away? Attacking the ball carrying arm.
Here come the Saints again with Shenton. Catalan against Bradford Live. Don't forget, tomorrow you press the red buttons about 2:55. You tune into Sky Sports 1, press the red button, you'll be able to see that match. And once the dust has settled in Perpignan, here's a penalty meanwhile to Saints. Once the dust has settled there, and it will have a huge bearing on whether Wakefield are in or have to win to be in against Salford. We'll be at Lee for that tomorrow at 6.
Well, aggressive defence again. Sean O'Loughlin and his teammates are moving up fast, but you see the frustration on his face that Liam Farrell was adjudged to have actually stripped the ball. Tough call. They're starting to get back to what they've done well, really, which is put their opponents under pressure when they have the ball.
Roby again. Pops the ball up to Anthony Lafranchi. He's having an impressive first year, isn't he? Shutfield is waiting for the nod from his coach to get back into the action. Roby's pass inside finds Wilkin. And Dodson and company find Wilkin. Liam Farrell was the other tackler in, just getting off the body. Here now is O'Hire. He finds Lafranchi again. Good tackle low down by Finch.
They're finding the half breaks, aren't they, over that advantage?
Lomax. Oh, that could have been an
Should have
obstruction.
been a penalty. He's given it. He had to as well. Not impressed, Mike Rush. As soon as he threw the dummy and went behind his own man, there you see it. Anthony Lafranchi was studying the offside position.
It's a brilliant pass that from John Wilkin. And I don't think you realise how hard it is to run straight towards the goalpost, twist your body and turn and pass it as accurately, and it's another wasted opportunity as far as St Helens are concerned.
Let's go, Brett.
Well, they know that Wigan have the entire second half to play with the man down, as Tompkins finds touch with the penalty. Tompkins, one of 6 men from Wigan in the England squad, named by Steve McNamara earlier this week. And St Helens, by the way, has 3 members in the England squad, the elite training squad.
Well, they're getting a little bit frustrated, the Wigan players. They're having a good old chatter to James Child.
Well, he's going to be under pressure from them all the way through the match now, isn't he, after the red card for McIlroy?
Yeah, but they've got to start concentrating on the game in hand. They're only 6 points adrift.
This is Farrell. Tackle by Roby was pretty good. It was finished off by two more, Clough and Flanagan. There goes O'Loughlin, finds Lulawai. Lulawai got rid of the ball, but Saints weren't going to be fooled.
And you can quite clearly see there Sean O'Loughlin adopting that position because McIlroy's off the field at dummy half. You never know if McIlroy's going to pick up a suspension next week, and we've got to be very careful with that. We don't quite know whether you'll go into the next game with Sean O'Loughlin at 9, or you're going to put Thomas Lulawai. Might be just an option for Wigan at half-time.
And they've got Matty Smith, of course, as well, ready to come back, haven't they? So they could move Lulawai to 9.
And practice in this game for what's going to come next week. Wigan have already won the League Leaders' Shield.
Well, they've got to be a little bit more intelligent than that. We've just seen Sean O'Loughlin that went for a power play, realised it was the last tackle. It should have been a kick into the in-goal area, try to retrieve the ball yet again.
Lomax. That's a great hit by Harrison Hansen.
It's good to see Johnny Lomax, though. He is posing the questions. He's asking a few questions to this defence.
Oh, this is a mistake from Wilkin. He went for a 40-20, and he's hoofed that out on the full. They'll bring it all the way back to where the kick was taken. And they form the scrum quickly, will Wigan.
Yep. You stop the clock as James Child.
Well, the whole KR fans don't need any reminding. Any of the points I'm going to make now. The best team in Super League at scoring just before half-time are the Wigan Warriors. And it would change probably your memory of this first half if Wigan get across now in the next 2 minutes.
Absolutely. They got over twice, didn't they, just before half-time last week, and that sparked a comeback from 26-0 down, the greatest comeback in Super League history. And here is Goulding trying to conjure up something more for Wigan. Inside the last 2 of this first half, Charnley is the man at dummy half, and he gets the ball away to Lee Mossop. Mossop is watched by 2. Dixon was one of them. Clough was the other. Lulawai. Finch gives it to Farrell.
Needs a quick play of the ball, but you can see Saints are holding him down, getting away with it.
So Loughlin again finds Lulawai. Lulawai then takes the return, dabs the ball to the in-goal area. Melly is there!
Oh, nearly made a mess of it.
He could feel Charnley breathing down his neck.
He's not happy. Not surprised. He looked very, very awkward. Tried to flick it away with his fingertips, and then finally got it over. Golden opportunity now for Wigan to launch the attack. This is where the likes of Sam Tompkins got to. We pose a question. Johnny Lomax is asking the questions, asking a few of the defensive qualities of the Wigan defence. This is where Tompkins has got to jump in, maybe into the dummy half.
Well, he's standing a little bit away from that right now, but the ball is coming this way.
None of the Wigan players have created more tries than Sam Tompkins. If he gets his hands on the ball, you're right, Eddie, he's the threat.
And he's just behind, and he's got the ball now. But that is solid defence from Lomax. He's all over him. Carmont, not the best. It bounced into the arms of Finch. Here's Lulawai. Lulawai gives it to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin stabs the kick to the in-goal area again. And it's Helens who's taking no chances. Knows there's only 20 seconds remaining in this first half.
Yeah, you see the backspin on this ball, and Helens knew that it was going to jump back at him. Did ever so well, didn't he? Experience showing there. He won't be rushing this one.
Well, the clock is stopped. We're going to get 12 seconds worth. Maybe 2 drives in, maybe just the one. Lomax will get a bit of height on this if he can. It arrives at Lulawai. 5 seconds. Last play of this first half. Finch. Wide they come to Farrell. Farrell escapes 1, escapes 2. Ball goes in field. Tompkins has it. Tompkins had it. Saints have it back. That's the first half. Wigan led 6-0. They had Michael McIlroy sent off. And as a result of all of that, Saints clawed their way back into the match. Red card from James Child. Luluai's try after 11 minutes, 16 minutes, the send-off. 24 minutes, Roby's try, 6 apiece. 4 minutes later, Makinson's try, 12-6. And that's where we stand at half-time. Wigan are out of the 1999 Super League playoffs. 13 years on, they're not out of this, not by a long chalk, not even this match. Never mind the playoffs, which begin next week. Wigan 6, St Helens 12. Luluai's try, Richard's goal, all going well. McIlorum saw red, and St Helens, they capitalised. And now the coach is seeing red. He wants to win every match. He wants to win the League Leaders' Shield and have it presented in style later on today. At the moment, the Saints are spoiling the big party. And he's barking out the instructions there. Little calmer in the St Helens dressing room, as you imagine. Mike Rush has just finished. It's now Kieran Cunningham's turn. They've waited a long time to be in the driving seat against Wigan this year. The 4th time they've faced them. They've lost in the last 3. But, John, it's going their way at the minute.
It is, after a very tightening open in 10 minutes. The visit is probably actually shading things, as you said, Eddie, early on. But Wigan will be relieved. Tommy Luluai is back and picking up where he left off before his injury. Drifts short side, already thinking the next play. Pull it to you. Look at him there, short side. He's too wide and he's ruck orientated. He's looking at what's going on here. He's not really got any awareness of the danger posed by Luluai. But it's this little goose step on the catch that takes Luluai on the outside of Pulatuyan for the opening score. Then the sending off. McIlorum's ugly shot on the Frankie. Naturally aggressive player is McIlorum. You'd never want to coach that out of him, but that is disappointing. He'd be very disappointed with that. Pulatuyan then making amends for his earlier error. 3 people in on him. Not able to stop the momentum. All that exquisite offload, and Roby crosses 6-all. Then came Makinson's try, but I like Josh Jones's movement here. On the short side, has to be accounted for by Harrison Hansen. Now, on the open side, with the attacking fullback and with the extra number because of McIlorum sending off, they've now got 2 extra men. They made it count 2. Still had to find the passes. Wilkins there, then Shenton's ball. Well finished by Makinson. 6-12 then to St Helens, and St Helens well in control as well, not just because of the sending off. Even before that, they were restricting Wigan's yardage with ball in hand and really putting a lot of pressure on, probably, arguably, Wigan's weakest point, and that's their long kicking game. And so you've got Melly, Makinson and Wellens catching the ball on the 30 on the front foot, which are entirely different prospects to when you turn them round. Now, coming forward from this, it's not often you say this, Wigan on their own turf are facing an uphill battle in this second half. The sending off not only takes them down numerically by 1, but also affects that rotation with Stuart Fielden. With not many minutes under his belt, it's going to be a tough ask, Eddie.
Yes, it is. And, well, James Child, the referee, left the field here with the Wigan boos ringing in his ears. But, Paul Cullen, when you see that incident involving McIlorum from that angle, James Child had no option. It was a red card.
No option whatsoever. You can't be hitting that part of a body with that part of your own body and expect anything else to happen. So, but that's done. What it is what it is, and Wigan now have to deal with it. I thought in there you could see Kieran Cunningham, prompting St Helens to keep doing what they're doing. That stay at the ruck. James Roby, as we know, well, he could play 3 games back-to-back, let alone do 80 minutes. He's just going to stay running from dummy half, and that's going to cause Wigan problems in that middle unit. Sean O'Loughlin has adopted the hooker role for Wigan, and he's going to do twice the tackles. He's going to do his own, and he's going to do Michael McIlorum's as well. For me, Wigan have got to try and rebalance, because they are big on that big shift right across the field. They almost use the full 68 metres. They almost do. But in that, you've got all 5 pivots working in tandem. McIlorum from dummy half, Luluai as a 7, Finch as a 6, Sean O'Loughlin as a 13, and Sam Tompkins as a fullback. So the 5 main pivots, which everything comes from, are involved in that big shift for Wigan. Now, they haven't got that, because one of the main ones, Sean O'Loughlin, is running from dummy half. So you can't do the same play
with less numbers. So they've got to readjust and rework it. They can actually put Lulawai to dummy half and try and run from there because he's more dynamic than Sean O'Loughlin, or they've got to come up with a plan B and possibly a plan C.
And really, when you think about it, the gamble, maybe that's the wrong word to use, the generosity of Sean Wayne to give Stuart Fielden the opportunity to prove himself here tonight might come up and bite him on the backside, because Stuart's not got many minutes under his belt over the last 2 years, and you're talking about this rotation and notation of the players on and off the bench. That could be crucial for Wigan to go on and lose this match.
Well, it could be, but, you know, if you think of, for example, Tony Smith at Warrington, 4 massive games not long ago: St Helens, Wigan, London Broncos and the Challenge Cup final. You know, and he sent a weakened side to London. At some point as a coach, you've got to take one on the chin for the greater good, and Warrington have done that under Tony Smith. Maybe this is Sean Wayne's way of getting his players ready for some big games coming up. Thomas Lulawai, not an awful lot of game time, neither Stuart Fielden. You'd rather be doing that now than in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Or indeed next week when the playoffs get underway. And at the moment, the Saints are looking like they're going to maintain this record of theirs of never having finished out of the top 3 in the last 8 years, because they lead at half-time against the Wigan Warriors, who are already assured of going into the playoffs from the top of the table. Well, there's 40 minutes to come, and we'll see how Wigan will cope with the loss of McIlorum when we return. Well, tonight here at Wigan, this game has been designated to the Joining Jack charity in aid of the young son of ex-Wigan star Andy Johnson, and all the crowd doing the Joining Jack salute during half-time. And don't forget, Super Saturday tomorrow, and the 8th and final spot will be decided. Catalan will take on Bradford at 2:55 via the red button on Sky Sports 1 HD. Press the buttons about 5 minutes to 3 and enjoy that game. And then Salford Wakefield at 6. You don't need any red buttons for that. The match at the Lee Sports Village tomorrow. Salford have had to switch the venue. Salford against Wakefield at 6. So the final 40 minutes of Wigan's weekly round home season. More to come, of course, in the playoffs for the home supporters here. By virtue of the fact that they finished top of the table, they will begin their quest for Old Trafford on this field next week. But who will they play? Will it be Saints if they finish 4th, or will it be the Catalan Dragons if they finish 4th? The next 40 minutes will maybe go some way towards telling us, because if Saints win here, they are confirmed in 3rd place. Catalan then will have nothing much to play for other than pride and, of course, Trent Robinson's farewell in Perpignan tomorrow. It's his last home weekly round fixture for the Dragons. His appointment with the Roosters announced earlier today. Wigan with first use of the football, start of the second half.
It's going to be difficult as well for the home side, and St Helens coach Mike Rush here in Cunningham, of course, they'll be just saying, look, keep our kick and chase game. If they do it as well as they did in the first 40 minutes, I think you'd have to safely say that Saints will win this game. It's going to be difficult for Wigan. They've got to share the workload.
And Tompkins gets the ball away to Carmont. He goes down under Lomax's challenge, who rolls away from the play the ball area. Little dink through by Brett Finch. Melly collects underneath his own sticks. Saints will try and run this back, and Melly almost gets through, but Harrison Hansen, Darryl Goulding stuck to him. Lance Ohio, and it's Dixon who plays the ball to Ohio again.
Good work as well by the standoff.
Come on, Lee. Come on, Liam.
Nipped into the dummy half position. Now then, will they kick early? Or will they wait until the last?
Well, that's tackle number 4. There's 2 left this set of 6. And it's with Lafranchi again. He drives it in, so there is the last. Now expect the kick from Lomax or Wilkin. It'll come from Wilkin, his left foot spiral bomb. Will test Sam Tompkins out there. He got a fingertip to that, I think. It's a goal line dropout.
He wants to check upstairs. Video referee Steve Ganson tonight.
He just wants to check.
No, he pulled his hands away just in time. But how many times have we seen that from Sam Tompkins? Uncertainty, in making the decision.
Okay, Thomas.
Be a tap on the 20, no doubt about it. But how many times have St. Helens just teased?
Oh, he's dropped that ball, stolen.
No, it was stolen.
It was stolen.
Yeah.
He must have breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah, Wilkin certainly had the fingertips in. Golden opportunity if Wigan they'll be wanting. Their coach Sean Wayne obviously said, look, we've got to try something pretty quickly and try to get a try on the scoreboard.
Come on.
They've got the capabilities of doing that. The combinations we mentioned, Brett Finch, Thomas Luluai, as though Luluai will be a little bit rusty.
Release 2.
Farrell goes down. And here is Finch. Gets the ball away to Luluai. Short ball to Tompkins. Good running here from Goulding. Good tackling from Lance O'Hire. He tracked him right away across the face of play then. Tompkins, infield it goes to Luluai. Little hop, skip and a jump. Bullets the pass in to... and eventually finds O'Loughlin. This is Pat Richards.
Come on. Go.
The recipient of the first pass is Ben Flower. And here is Liam Farrell. That's the last tackle, says James Child. They go wide and find Richards. He's in, I think. Pat Richards, I think, has scored a try in the corner.
Well, it's certainly nowhere near the flag and it's nowhere near the whitewash, but there was a little bit of a bobble.
And there's not much celebrating.
Little bit of a bobble here.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think he's got it down. Good play out that Sean O'Loughlin missed out George Carmon. That's got to be given as a try as far as I'm concerned.
Well, in the first half, it was the little man who beat the big man for the try, didn't it, when Luluai went past Pulatua. Here, the size and power of Pat Richards pushes him over Johnny Lomax. Not really a fair competition on the last tackle. And this will be TRY.
Should be. Steve Ganson, the video referee, presses the button. And Richards gets the try, and Wigan are back in it, start of the second half. Maybe, you could say, against all the odds.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful pass, wasn't it? Good decision by the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. Utilised George Carmont as the dummy runner, just sucked in enough. Richards, such a tall man, reaches out, plonks it down. All came about from the steal. John Wilkin, the culprit, got them in a good position. Beautiful pass. Nothing that Lomax could do about that. He knew that it was a little bit late going to it, and he's frustrated with it. See the power there of Pat Richards. Puts the body on the line, dips right into it.
And he's given himself a hell of a task to convert his own try, because he's just centimetres in from touch on that far side. Mind you, if anybody can, this fella can. Return from 15 out against Salford here, and look at that! He's a valuable weapon to have in your armoury, isn't he? All square.
You really have to applaud the smartness of Sean O'Loughlin. Is it by chance that Johnny Lomax at scrum half and Mark Flanagan at right second row are the last two defenders on the short side? Because Tommy Makinson and Michael Shenton, who should have been there, were caught up on the previous play. Really smart play from a makeshift dummy half in Sean O'Loughlin.
2 tries and 5 goals from Pat Richards in the comeback match against Salford here, August the 20th. 2 tries and 5 goals in the massive comeback win against Hull KR last weekend. He's very important to this side as they approach the playoffs. Bill Arthur.
Strange restart from Johnny Lomax for Saints there. It might have something to do with this, the fact that in the aftermath of that Richards try, Lomax was treated for a bang that he took to the head. He was very groggy when he got to his feet. He lined up for the kick at goal, and he took that restart. And I'm not sure just how much he knows about what's going on there at the moment. There is a bit of concern on the sidelines about him at the moment.
Brett Finch is trying to drive Wigan on here.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? This is the tactics that I thought we'd see from St. Helens in the second stanza. Kicking early in the tackle count to turn them around. Now we're seeing it by Wigan, who've levelled the scores, and it's not surprising that Johnny Lomax would feel a little bit groggy, because the impact of Pat Richards when he went right into it. You could see that Lomax couldn't get his head at the side. Took the full force of it, full brunt.
But if he is feeling a little bit groggy, they've had an awful long time since Pat Richards scored that try to the restart, and they literally gave Wigan 30 metres. Short restart, and he didn't come on.
He's coming off the field, replaced by Pulatua. So he's obviously not right, it's Johnny. Roby from dummy half for the Saints. Good hit by O'Loughlin. Zero tackle coming up. Referee wipes the tackle count clean. Good run here from Josh Jones. Tremendous run. He's got Melly outside him. Oh, the kick. Why did he kick? It's come up for him, as it turns out. Oh, the pass from Ohio straight to O'Loughlin. Well, that's a comedy of errors for St. Helens.
Well, nobody's laughing. I can assure you that.
There's a now because he goes foul. An important ankle tap put in on him by Lafranchi, I think it was. There he is, just running into the back line. Wigan on the front foot. Finch goes wide. Farrell again.
Lafranchi just clipped the boot just enough to stop Charlie from racing away.
Carmont, good hands. Here's Charlie. Great tackle. Great tackle by Lance O'Hire. Luluai will go on his own and try and pinch one. He's held up. So close.
And again,
head on the line, but not the ball.
And again, Lance O'Hire coming to the rescue. Wonderful defence there, but Wigan a cock a hoop.
They are, and they're spreading the ball wide from one side to the other. Here's Finch.
Oh, he was looking for someone on the inside. Fielden.
Can't wait to get back on. Mossop will drive it in, and they'll turn it over underneath the St. Helens sticks. Went for the power play.
Yeah, the tactics, they know that they can put their defence up strong. They've got to fight their way out 5 metres from their own in-goal area.
Very impressive start to the second half for Wigan, really. They've controlled the game, they've looked dangerous, and it's been taking quite a lot of effort here and energy from St. Helens to stay in the game. They've only conceded 6 points so far, but you see now the Wigan home crowd have found the voice, and the side have lifted accordingly.
And St. Helens, Phil, haven't recovered from the John Wilkinson ball steal penalty. They were in good position, they looked in control, they had a reasonable first set when they came out, and they've just lost grip of this game.
Good kick downfield, though. That will give St. Helens some good field territory.
Yeah, good thinking there by the hooker, James Roby. We mentioned that that was the tactics that I thought that they would bring to this game in this second half. Kicking on the third and say, let's keep them down there.
Interesting then, Eddie, the last Wigan player to get back on side, number 7, Thomas Luluai. This must be tough now when you've been out for so long and you're in an intense atmosphere like this.
Yeah, no wonder if he is feeling the pinch. No wonder if any of the Wigan players are feeling the pinch, because they've had to be covering up for the sent-off McAlorum since the 16th minute. It's a big effort from them.
Certainly is, and you've got to look to the captain. Sean O'Loughlin really has pumped himself up. Good kick and chase, and is getting there. And hard work.
Finch with the kick and Finch with the tackle.
Yep.
So interesting to see them kicking to Paul Welland's right-hand side. He's a right-hand carrier of the ball, which means he's got no fend.
O'Hire gives it to Pulatua.
It looks as though there's a problem for Roby. He got crunched in it in a would-be attempt to get down for a tackle. I think it's Roby in back play.
I think it is. And Fielden is about to come on as Roby gets a word in his ear from Joey Hayes. And O'Hire with a kick over the top of Josh Charnley. And will it be too long? Yes, it will. Now Stewart's ready to come back on.
Just wait!
Well, he's got to be eager. He's got to make sure that he can carry this ball up. Got to do a lot of hard work. It won't be easy for him.
He's replacing Lee Mossop.
Yeah, those 2 kicks from St. Helens are exactly what Wigan wanted. The ball's rolled dead in goal. The accuracy just wasn't there, which allows Wigan just a few more seconds of recovery, because they're going to need it. We've got 1 man down.
Tompkins, little hop, skip and a jump, and then he heads for the other end of the field, but Lafranchi and Dixon deal with the threat. Here's Finch, coming more and more into this match, Finch. Carmont. Fielden marshalling the troops. Here he goes, carrying the ball up.
That's what's needed, and he knows it. So does his coach, Sean Wayne.
Finch again off the outside of the boot, finds touch on that far side.
This is turning into a game like chess. They really are testing the quality. It's all about field position. Maybe they can just force the error, because it'll come from an error. This is going to be so tight.
The kicking game favouring from both sides, favouring Wigan. Wigan are kicking the ball out of play, slowing it down, trying to delay that restart. Unfortunately for St Helens, they're doing exactly the same thing. They want to keep the ball in play, keep the tempo high, keep challenging Wigan to go the full 40 minutes of this second half now with that one man down, and see if they can find a break at some point in it.
This is the fourth meeting between these two this season. There could be as many as 2 more between now and grand final night on October the 6th. There won't be many complaints if that is the case.
Yeah, it could be interesting in the fact that both 1 and 2, which is Wigan and Warrington, it could be quite unique, couldn't it, with the fact that with the club call, that Wigan could find themselves, do we play Warrington or do we play Saints? That's a poor kick.
Well, it did come off a Wigan player, so it wasn't directly kicked on the play, I'm sure. There's pressure on him. Who is it who gets there? No, maybe not. Or Lachlan, does he touch the ball?
I don't think he did. No, he didn't. He got there late-ish.
Well, he committed, and like I said before, it could be down to that one error. Could that be it?
You know, and John Wilkin, an excellent kicker, but he's a left-foot kicker on the right-hand side of the play the ball, which means the strike foot is exposed to chase from dummy half, and Sean O'Loughlin knew that, he read it, and he put him in on unbearable pressure, forcing the error.
Move, back up, Michael. Hold, go.
O'Loughlin just inside the Saints half of the field. Luluai, and here's Hansen. Bradley Wiggins is looking anxiously on. His favourite teams coming back, 12 apiece. Finch, wide to go to Carmont. He's 34 years of age, and he leaves at the end of this year after 5 glorious years at Wigan. He's playing as well as ever. Luluai is another man who's departing for foreign shores, back to the New Zealand Warriors. But business to be done in the playoffs before then. Here's another one who won't be here next year, Finch. So important, great kick. And what a timed tackle there by Pat Richards.
Got to give a lot of credit as well to making Sini put himself into a good position. That was one big hit, I'll tell you. Oh.
And he's at it again, Harrison Hansen. 2 tremendous tackles. Look at this, bang. That was the first, and then he got involved from the play the ball as well. Ben Flower all over the top of Ohio.
He was lucky with Flower. Could have been given for a bit of a flop. He arrived very late indeed.
Perry to his feet on the last tackle. Roby finds Wellens. Wellens goes wide. Makinson's chip through. Finds touch. Not the best.
It's a complete opposite, isn't it, from what St Helens did in the first half. They kicked the ball well. They turned it over at Wigan end of the field. Look, he's saying I thought it was a 4th tackle maybe, that's a 5th. He's trapped on the sideline. I don't think they could have kicked the ball worse in the last 14 and a half minutes than they have probably all season.
Now it's obviously a part of no one's game plan to having your right winger trying to fly hack or chip the ball in that position. It was nigh on impossible to try and get anything positive out of it.
Especially when you've got so many important short kickers on that Saints side.
And Lomax is a vital cog in the kicking department. Bill?
So he's looks as though Johnny Lomax will be able to come back on. As Steve-O said, he got his head in the wrong place during that Richards try. He was shaken up. He's had a check by the team doctor. He's okay to continue when Saints want to get him back on. And I'm just wondering whether there's a bit of anxiety creeping into the Saints camp now. You know, they've got the numerical supremacy. They're never going to have a better chance after what they've been through against Wigan this season. It's there for them, but is it getting to them?
That's a good point. 12 all.
And a good point by Sean Wayne is sent out Gareth Hawk. He knows he needs a game breaker.
Decent kick as well from Tompkins. Dribbled it all along the ground. The momentum of the ball just took it over the line about a yard or so, the right side of this corner post. Look at that, great kick.
Isn't it amazing? The first 40 minutes, they were all over the shop with Wigan, with the kicking game. Now it's turned around. Saints were brilliant in the first half, and they've got it all wrong.
Well, did you see Sean Wayne at half-time barking the instructions to his players?
It was not impressed.
No. They don't want to go through all that again at the end of the 80 minutes. Nelly. Quick play the ball wanted, they get it. McCarthy, Scarsbrook.
Saints have got to up that tempo in the forwards. Remember, Wigan down a man. So therefore, try to drag in this defence, then you can try to get the link up. Maybe Helens chiming into that three-quarter line out wide.
That should have been a penalty against Fielden. The referee shouted held, and Fielden had another go at him, put him on his back. Of course, he hasn't played under this new interpretation this year, has he? And the kick from St Helens just goes innocuously dead in goal again.
All he has to do is put it out so that they've formed a scrum.
But that's exactly what Wigan want here, a little bit of a breather. You know, the St Helens kicking game is working perfectly for the Wigan game plan. Kick the ball out of play, take a breather, take stock, complete sets, and get another good kick in from Finch, probably back at the other end of the field.
Gareth Hock drives it in on tackle number 2. And was that touched by a St Helens hand? Wigan are claiming it was. The referee says play on. So here is Pulatua. Saints have got it back. And Pulatua is striding his way through. If he goes over, I bet... Oh, he won't go over. He will now! They will now with Dixon, but I bet James Childs hands this upstairs. And he does. It was a great run from Pulatua. It was good support from Dixon. But how did St Helens get the ball back? Wigan were appealing for a knock-on. This will tell us, well, maybe it won't. Maybe there wasn't a knock-on.
Did he grab the arm? Sam Tompkins was trying to impress upon James Child, the official, that he had the ball knocked down, but he didn't. He went for the ball-carrying arm. That was great work. Wonderful work from the centre, Michael Shenton. And this is all play on. This is going to be TRY time.
Did Flanagan knock it on? Now they're having a look at that. The man with the bandage around his head. It's a few conundrums for Steve Ganson to sort out here.
That's okay. It was the arm that this is the one. No, that was kicked by Carmon. And I don't think Flannery got a fingertip to it. And that ball goes backwards.
And here comes Pulatua, so they've moved it on, they've ticked 2 boxes.
Well, he created a try in the first half.
Oh, maybe they haven't ticked the boxes here. I don't think that's a knock-on, do you?
It's not a knock-on.
We've seen it from a couple of angles. He doesn't seem to touch the ball. That one goes back to St Helens.
This has got to be a,
the last question really now is the grounding for me.
Well, those 2 boxes now have been ticked. Well, no, they haven't. Now they have surely.
Yeah, they've got to look and see how it finishes, but...
Here's Pulatua. There's nothing wrong with all of this. There's nothing wrong with all of this. It's a fantastic
brilliant
run.
Play and great support from Dixon.
And they're looking at the grounding. This is going to be given.
Of course it is.
There's an effort and a half from Charnley to wrest the ball from Dixon. But St Helens have got the lead back here, courtesy of Andrew Dixon. His 8th in a row as a substitute. 6th try of the campaign for Andrew Dixon. Great support for the run from Tony Pulatua. And Dixon has nudged St Helens ahead yet again.
It's an amazing, isn't it, the game of rugby league. We saw in the first half that it was Anthony Pulatua that was just fended off by Thomas Luluai that made Wigan get their first try. And boy, has he come out and said, I will repay my coach. Created 2 tries. Can they add the extra?
No, he can't. Tommy Makinson has pulled it the short side. Only 4 points in it then.
That was the error, and you could see they were standing around. Sam Tompkins is just saying to the referee, come on. He should have been going back and helping in defence. You play to the whistle, and when the whistle isn't blown, You can't stand around. It was a great run, wasn't it, by the big second rower. Support by Dixon. That's a fine try.
Great try, great kick-off as well, but Wellens deals with it so well. Before he's clobbered by Carmont. That ball seemed to hang in the air for the eternity. And Wellens had to race from his own goal line to take the kick-off. It was a fantastic kick. It was a great take. So Saints back in front as we approach the hour mark.
Another great tackle from the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. He's worked overtime tonight, he's had to.
And here's young Josh Jones. Hasn't he come of age this year, Josh Jones? There's some future for Nathan Brown to work with at St Helens next year when he moves in. Mike Rush goes back to finding these youngsters once more.
And he's gaining experience, isn't he, Jones? He always looks classy. Got good balance.
Ohio with the kick, but straight into the arms of Tompkins, who gives it to Charnley.
Well, surely Mike Rush has got to get that message out and say, listen, get it over the touchline. Let's have those forwards having to traipse all the way back, form the scrum.
They've tried the sideline twice with John Wilkin, though, and it's gone too far. It's a risky kick to find the sideline, Mike, and that's why more often teams go for the safer option to keep it in the middle of the field, which means that those wingers and fullback have got a great chance of catching it.
Last 20 minutes of the weekly rounds for these two, and St Helens ahead against Wigan by 4 points. It's not over yet, not over by a long chalk. Here's Fielden, driving it forward over halfway on the last. Expect the kick here from Finch again. There it is. Into the centre of the field. But the Wigan chase is just a touch laboured this time. And Wellens will run it back.
Great run as well, but I think you're just starting to see the signs of this Wigan outfit getting a little bit tired there. You were spot on, Eddie. The kick wasn't as enthusiastic as we've seen throughout this game. Remember, you've got to work hard when you're down one man.
You've got to work hard when you're up to 13 aside, aren't you? When you're playing 13 against 12, the 12 are running their blood to water. Here's Pulatua again. Important tackle by Fielden. Lomax is back out there. Here's Wellens. Go wide, that's off the ankles of Shenton, and Finch was after him.
Got to get a good kick here. Give it some height.
Lomax does exactly that. The youngster's after it. It's been knocked back. It's with O'Hire. It's play on. It's still on the last. He gets the ball away. Still on the last is Shenton. He keeps it alive. That's touched by Charnley. 6 to go. 6 to go, and Wilkin gets the ball away. Oh, and it's a catastrophic pass to Carmont.
Carmont knew he didn't have the legs. Well, Charnley gave them a real present.
Well, John Wilkin put all the chips on one number, didn't he, there? I don't know whether he knew it was back to the start of the tackle count or not, but he'd look to find that short pass to a winger. The game's opening up, and you sense a try in the next few minutes.
Fielden bounces off one. And Roby, who I think was the man bounced, came back to help out. Andy Farrell has enjoyed many of these encounters. Here goes Finch up the middle.
Oh, he's tried to offload.
The ball was dropped, but didn't it go backwards? That's what Wigan are claiming.
Oh, there's a bit of handbags thrown around.
Lima and Perry are eyeing each other. Well, Finch shaking his head. He believed that ball went backwards. I think he's got a case. Has he?
Yeah, it's hard to say. He was desperate to offload, and
oh, he's knocked out by Dixon.
Yeah. So that should be play on.
Okay.
That's why he's shaking his head.
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, Dixon gets a hand to it, so that's play on. That's back to 6.
But it isn't. It's a St Helens scrum.
But Lima didn't knock on.
There's no need for you to try and drop onto his head, okay? Death, come on. There you go.
Let's have a little word.
He won't have any of it. James Child will not have any of it.
First offence is him dropping on.
And there was
just be careful, all right?
There was an elbow used on Lima, and Lima didn't like it, understandably. think it's actually, he's changed his mind. It's a penalty to Wigan.
Yeah, he's got that right, because Josh Perry, he lost his marbles. It was a late elbow into Lima.
Well, that was nasty by Josh Perry.
Yeah, it certainly was, and this is going to be... Anybody want it, boys?
Well, he'll have it all the night, Gareth Hock. Referee shouts tackle held, play the ball to O'Loughlin. Here's Lima, will go looking for Perry, found him, almost found the line. Good leg drive from Jeff Lima, pushing and shoving around to play the ball between them again. There's Finch, Finch finds Luluwai! Solid St Helens defence this time, but for how long can they hang on? Farrell failed to go left and came back right.
Real scrambling defence, it has to be as well.
Luluwai gives it to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin fires the pass and finds Hock. Hock goes wider and finds Tompkins. Tompkins finds Richards, he's in touch. That's great St Helens defence.
Yeah, man-on-man marking. They were not going to be caught out wide, like they did when Richards squeezed in the same corner. He had to reach back for it, did Richards.
And it's man-on-man marking, Mike, because Wigan have got one man less, and when Tompkins chimes into the line, they don't have the advantage of that fullback being the extra man. So Wigan have got to do something different here. If they continue to try and run around St Helens, they've got the devil's own task all night. At some point they've got to straighten up. They may have to go back on the inside or work on the kick through, the kick over. They've got to come up with something different apart from trying to run around a very good defensive St Helens side with one man less.
No matter what the outcome tonight, isn't this wonderful preparation for these two sides for the playoffs to come?
Well, we were due a good game, and we've certainly had one here tonight. I've said before that again, rugby league's that 4,802nd test. You have to concentrate. This will be one of those nights. I remember being here not long ago when Wigan won in the last 30 seconds against St Helens. Tonight, I see this one going into the last few minutes again.
Let's go downstairs to Bill.
Well, I'm just wondering whether Sean Wayne will see it as getting to be great preparation, because he's got the worry about McAlorum and what's going to happen to him with the disciplinary. And now he's got Brent Finch out there hobbling as well. He's had one visit from the physio. He's not moving that smoothly. Given what's coming up, OK, the League Leaders' Shield is done and dusted. The playoffs and the grand final ambitions as well. He can't afford too many casualties now.
No, he can't. If you were Sean Wayne, would you be tempted to hook this fellow off and leave him for what's to come? The trouble with Sean is he wants to win every week.
Nothing wrong with that.
There isn't anything wrong with that, and that's why they're sitting top of the table, because he has put such store and such stock in the fact that he wanted Wigan to end this season leading the field, and that's what they've done. They've achieved that. Goal number 1 achieved.
Oh,
there's a mistake.
Bad error.
It was by Gareth Hock, and here goes Dixon again. Takes the tackle.
Did well, Dixon. Didn't panic. Didn't look for a silly offload.
Makinson here. Makinson. Brett Finch stands his ground. Roby has given the signal. Wigan are tiring. There's no question of that.
Yeah, the breaks are beginning to appear now from St Helens.
Lomax to O'Hire. Here's Wilkin. Quick hands. It's Jones. Gets the ball away to Melee. Loses it. Great hit by O'Loughlin. What a try-saver that was.
Yeah, he deliberately went for the ball. I'm sure that he went with the intention of making sure he knocked this out. He's such a big man.
You're watching this, and the referee has given Saints a penalty for offside. There you see the signal. Wigan were offside.
Time off.
Oh, tense. What a captain's knock from the loose forward, Sean O'Loughlin.
Well, it was a try-saver, but they've got to repel the borders 6 more times, and it's with Pulatua. And he gets them on the first tackle to within a metre of the Wigan try line. There is Roby. Roby scheming. Gives it in field to Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. He finds Lomax. Lomax then to Wellens. Wellens tackled a bit high by Hock. He gets away with it. 2, says the referee. Dixon. Dixon to Perry.
This is where Roby, throw the dummy and have a little shuffle yourself.
Well, there is Roby at dummy half, waiting for Perry to get to his feet. He plays the ball to him, gives it to Lomax. Lomax then to the big man Pulatua, out the back door to Lomax. Here's O'Hire, here's Josh Jones, and Saints are in again with Jones. Mike Rush celebrates every try like he's behind the post with the spectators. And Josh Jones, he played on Good Friday. He hasn't played against Wigan since, either in the Cup or in the Magic weekend. But he's played here tonight, and he scored a try that could well secure third place for the men from Langtree Park.
They just run out of numbers, did Wigan. It was a great run by Pulatua, got them into such a wonderful position. And then when they got it out quickly out on the left-hand side, Jones finishes it off. That looked slightly forward. A lot of the Wigan players and the fans were complaining. Take nothing away from Jones, but this delayed pass, that could have been brought back. But again, the run from Pulatua, he got the offload. Sensational stuff by the big second rower. This is what it means to Mike Rush.
Well, he lives, eats and breathes every moment. Mike Rush, one of the personalities of 2012, took over from Roy Simmons early in the piece and has maintained, if he wins here, has maintained this remarkable record for St Helens. Oh, Makinson has missed. That was kickable. I've never kicked one in my life, but that was kickable.
Let's hope that it stays that way, Eddie. Yeah, it was a vital extra 2 points, but I'm still dubious about that offload from Johnny Lomax. Wasn't seen by the officials, certainly was seen by a lot of the Wigan fans here, but you take nothing away from this youngster.
You can take nothing away from Tony Pulatua either, Eddie. I mean, his ability to attract defenders and then put the pass out. He's been involved and probably instrumental in 3 of the 4 St Helens tries, and another penalty here now to St Helens keeps the momentum rolling forward.
Let's go down to Bill. What news, Bill?
Well, just that Wigan obviously have decided that really it's not worth risking any more casualties. Tommy Luluai, who of course was starting for the first time this evening since his injury, playing for the Exiles in June, and it's been a really heroic performance from him given the circumstances, having to do extra work once McIlaurin went off. Well, Luluai's come off. Finch is still out there, but obviously Sean Wayne thinking that really we've got to conserve our troops now.
Well, of course, we will know over the next 48 hours or so who will be coming here for the first week of the playoffs to Wigan. I mean, Wigan will be looking anxiously, if this result stays as it is for the next 9-10 minutes or so, at what happens at what happens at Catalan and Bradford. That's massive now, because Catalan, well, they can only go 4th now, can't they? If this stays like this, and I think it might stay like this, because here goes Lomax, and Lomax gets the try, and Saints are going to finish 3rd. Saints are going to get the bronze medal 2012, and they stay inside the top 3 for the 8th year in a row. They've waited a long time for this, and they're prepared to celebrate for a long, long time as well. So as it stands, St Helens will go to Warrington in the first week of the playoffs. Wigan will either have Catalan Dragons or Leeds here, because it now opens up for the champions to claim the 4th spot if Bradford can do the trick tomorrow in Perpignan.
Silly penalty given away, way downfield. Lima swinging arm on the fullback, Paul Wellens. And it's a very tired Wigan defence. A lot of pointing, not much defending. Nice step. He's got great balance, this fella, Johnny Lomax. But it's a tired outfit. The home side, good offload there. McCarthy Scarsbrook. It's all over now. And when Thomas Luluai was taken from the field of play by the coach, Sean Wayne, it was as though the white flag had gone up.
26-12 to the Saints. 3 scores Wigan have to produce in the last 7 minutes here. I know they had the greatest ever comeback at Hull KR last week, but I think Sean Wayne, Euston Harris and co know it's just slightly beyond them tonight.
This game of rugby league never ceases to amaze, does it? The early exchanges in the second half was all Wigan. They were doing the right thing. The St Helens kicking game, for me, was giving Wigan far too much rest. Then one loose pass from the dummy half. Wigan surrendered possession, and St Helens have seized them by the throat.
It will be the first win for self-confessed St Helens fanatic, and now the interim coach Mike Rush against the old enemy. Or will it? Here is Farrell.
Well, you always knew it was
a penalty.
You always knew it was going to be an uphill battle, Eddie, when Michael McAlorum was sent from the field of play. Not the best choice of a swinging arm by McAlorum.
Farrell again.
It could really affect Wigan's run-up to the playoffs, depending on if he gets suspended. It's going to be nervous times for McAlorum and the coach Sean Wayne. Oh, that's a knock-on.
It is off the shoulder. Off the shoulder of the runner. It was Ben Flower.
Move, Gareth. Hold.
And there is Fielden. I wonder whether we'll see him again in a Wigan jersey in those playoffs. He's been on for, I would think, what, about 20, 25 minutes? First appearance in almost 2 years.
Yeah, he'll be happy.
Very tough.
Yeah, it's tough, and he'll be happy to get down, just out there in front of a crowd. You know, to go through all that training for, you know, two seasons in the off-season as well, tried his damnedest. But we all thought that Saints were going to come here and be party poopers. Remember, Wigan will be presented with the trophy for coming first, top of the league. But it'll be a little bit sour, and the flowers will droop.
Yes, they will. Here goes Tompkins now, though, trying to give the crowd here something to think about. The crowd, by the way, down at least one, because apparently the stewards have discovered the culprit, the lunatic who had the laser pen and was shining it in the faces of the players in the first half. He's been found and ejected. Let's hope he never comes back.
I imagine one or two St Helens fans will also be regretting the fact that they didn't have the confidence to come here. Losing to Wigan 3 times this season, they probably got a little bit pessimistic and didn't fancy the chances. There are 1 or 2 now back home in St Helens and around the country wishing that they'd made the effort to join the ones who made it here tonight and have enjoyed a fantastic performance from their side.
Saints will go to Warrington in the opening shots of the playoffs next week. The only team to beat Warrington on their own ground this year.
To be fair to Wigan, though, you've got to admire their grit and determination. Going down to 12 men, it was always going to be tough. They made a fight of it, didn't they, after when Richard scored the try and levelled it at 12 all. But they just run out of steam, and that is one thing that Gareth Hock loves. And boy, didn't the crowd, they may have lost. Wigan may have lost those 2 points, but boy, they love seeing Hock run into him.
So Lachlan, it's Tompkins, Charnley, oh, wonderful tackle, Melly. Super League top try scorer in the weekly rounds was looking for something there. Here is Tompkins looking for something here, and Wigan have got the penalty because the Saints defenders were not standing square. And Mansell knocked the ball out of Sam Tompkins' hand then, and that could have been deemed as a professional offence. It would have resulted in the 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a sin bin, isn't it?
I would have thought so. It was a deliberate act, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he should have had a rest.
O'Loughlin and Finch. Carmont gets the ball away to Finch again. That was off the knees of... Oh, it wasn't. Goulding. I thought that was off the knees or the thighs of Darryl Goulding. The referee saw it another way.
I'm with you, Eddie. I thought he did the knees. Oh, maybe he had a finger there. But they've dug deep. They knew they had to, but take nothing away from St Helens. They changed it around in that second half.
Certainly did. Opportunity presented it, and St Helens took it with both hands. It's been fascinating trying to see how we're going to adapt to the difficult situations that have faced themselves, or shall we say, they've caused themselves with the McAlorum send-off. that they're now playing with only one half-back in Brett Finch. Luluai off the field, Sean O'Loughlin doubling up as a standoff, as a hooker, and also as a loose forward.
Don't let anybody tell you that this fixture doesn't have an appeal, because there are over 21,000 in the ground tonight. It's the biggest attendance in the Stobart Super League regular weekly rounds, and there could well be more to come. Louis McCarthy's Garsbrook's away again. He's got support. He has support from Wellens. Couldn't get the ball away to him. Great tackling back that was. And it's Carmont, isn't it?
Yeah, the centre, George Carmont, came through. McCarthy Scarsbrook, who's been in scintillating form, showed a lot of pace there, but he was trying to draw the full back, but didn't realise that George Carmont was raining down on him. Can Wigan, can they finish with a flourish now?
Well, normally when they're losing to St Helens 26-12, you'd be believing that everybody would be on their way out with the Wigan colours on. But of course they're staying, because after the match the League Leaders Shield is going to be presented. So despite the fact that the champagne will be a bit flat, there will be a party here at the DW Stadium. And a head-high shot gets another penalty for Wigan, right in front of their own sticks.
And for me, we've got
to see St Helens sticks.
Yeah, far more of Sam Tompkins now. We know we've not got Lulaw. We know we've not got McAlorum in the Wigan sense of things. We've got to see Sam Tompkins in a more dominant position. It's no use in playing at full-back. The scoreboard's gone. Just get him on the ball.
Finch gives it to Farrell. O'Loughlin says he's going that way, and he goes left with Finch. Here's Tompkins, stabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Tompkins has the last word. Paul Cullen picked it, Paul Cullen called it, and Sam Tompkins delivered. Dabbed it to the in-goal area, chased it himself, won the race and touchdown. There's life in the old dog that's Wigan yet.
Absolutely, this has been a sparring match for Wigan. It's not gone the way because of what McAlorum's done. Bradley Wiggins, I'm sure, will be delighted with a Wigan effort.
And the fact that it's Sam Tompkins who scored it.
Absolutely.
Because I think Sam Tompkins, is Bradley and his young lad's favourite player.
Well, he's delivered in the final seconds what Wigan would have hoped for the majority of the match. But St Helens, although this is the last play of the game, the big Sam Tompkins chip, he was doing that in the warm-up 5 or 6 times. He was just chipping the ball and getting it back to himself. The ball was on a string, but it's been about St Helens for the most, and they've done what they were expected to do. Come to Wigan and go home with 2 points.
Well, the build-up starts here for Wigan for the playoffs. Yes, they've lost to St Helens. Yes, they're going to get the League Leaders Shield. It's not the greatest way that they thought they were going to collect the silverware, but the build-up to the playoff starts here, and Sam Tompkins' try has given them something to think about going into those playoffs next week. Same score as both playoff games last year for St Helens. Is that an omen? 26-18. They won here. Then they faced Wigan at Widnes, and they won there by this scoreline of 26-18. So the Saints are third, Wigan are top, Warrington are second, sandwiched in between them. It's Warrington St Helens next weekend, and is it Bradford? Is it Bradford for the 8? Is it Catalan Dragon for 4? Is it Leeds for 4? All that will be sorted out over this weekend. Well, man of the match, it goes to Tony Pullatua, and he's talking to Bill.
Tony, after what Wigan have done to you so far this season, that must be very sweet to come here and get the win.
Yeah, it is. We know it was tough for them, down one man, and even them down one man, it's still going to be a tough game. So we knew we had to play the 480, and to our credit, we stuck to it, and we got the 2 points.
Gives you third place, and that is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. We go over to Warrington now, another tough game. And
one.
Yeah. They're in good form at the moment, so we need to be on our best again to go up against them.
There was a point in this game when you got the feeling that you had the numerical supremacy. You weren't getting through against Wigan. They were really being stubborn. Were you getting a bit anxious at that point?
Yeah, sort of. It's Wigan. They're going to keep coming at you no matter how many men they got on the field. So, You know, like I said, you know, to our credit, we stuck to it, and we come away with the 2 points, which is the main thing.
Well done tonight, Tony. You've got the £100 for a charity of your choice. Where would that go?
I'll donate to the Johnny Jack.
Good shout, good shout. Champagne as well. Well done.
Mate. Thank you. Thanks.
Let's bring the skipper in, Paul Helens, and Tony touched on it there. I mean, to get a win against Wigan at any time is good, but after what they've done to you this season, a bit sweeter.
Yeah, even more so. You know, we came here to get the victory, and we're pleased with that. Obviously, you know, people will make a lot of the fact that they went down to 12 men and made it a bit easier for us, but still the quality side, and you've got to do the right things.
It's not a given, is it, when you're up against 12 men?
It's not known. And I think on reflection, even though we got the 2 points and we've done some great things, I think we're playing with a lot of courage, a lot of heart and a lot of energy, but we probably need to smarten up a bit, especially with the ball down the opposite end of the field.
But it must put you in good heart for the playoffs now, Paul, this.
It does, yeah, because we're improving, and that's what we want to be doing at this stage of the season, slowly improving. We know we've got a bit to do, but we've got a tough game next week, more than likely at Warrington at the moment, and it's one that we look forward to.
Thanks, Paul. Well done tonight.
Cheers, thank you.
Let's hear from the forgotten man of Super League, at least he was for a while, Stuart Field. Well, from a personal point of view, okay, on the wrong end of the scoreline, Wigan, but from a personal point of view, after 2 years of what you've been through, it must be a sweet night.
Yeah, obviously absolutely over the moon to be back in that respect, just playing. You know, I'd have played anywhere, any place, just to be playing. And great, you know, what a game to come back in this game tonight, massive game. And just being back with the boys, it's sensational. And I thank everyone who supported me throughout this, the fans, my friends and family and that, and just waiting to give me a chance. Unfortunately tonight, obviously we're on the wrong end of the loss, but the game was ruined by someone. I'm not sure who, Bill. But, you know, we live to fight another day, and it's about building. And I think you're going to take out that character, massive character, to say we defended for our lives, and they only got that score in us with, you know, 12 men for most of the game.
Fair to say, Stuart, you were not impressed when you were taken off the first time in the game, were you?
Yeah, I'm not supposedly, but I think that the day comes in when you are happy to come off. I think that's probably the day to hang on the boots, and that's a long way off.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
He spoke well as well, didn't he, considering he still had his mouth guard in. Stuart Fielden back on the Super League scene. Here is the full-time scoreboard. Wigan 18, St Helens 26. The biggest crowd to watch it in the Stobart Super League in the weekly rounds in 2012, 21,500. All thrilled, and I'm sure that John Wells was as well. Let's have a look at the second half with you, John.
Thanks, Eddie. Saints' night, but Wigan grabbed the opener. O'Loughlin in the build-up, really smart here. Watch him as in the back play. He's pulling Carmont to his position on the short side. He knows that will force Flanagan there in the headband to account for Carmont, which leaves Lomax on the end, one-on-one with Richards. Big finish from the big man. Lomax taken the field, injured too. And that play, that was 12 all. Some question marks appearing at this point as to who was in control of the game. St Helens, this is the second poor end to a set in succession. Wilkin kicking out on the full previously. Miles Makinson there dribbling into touch. Now compare this with Wigan's weighted and considered kick for territory. Tompkins there giving his 12-man Wigan team a breather and some time at the other end of the field. But that control was wrested from Wigan just 2 minutes later. Shenton's arm here, changing the trajectory of Tompkins' pass. And then Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook to tap back. Once he ggets into the hands of Pulatuya, he showed why he was the man of the match, got into some space and showed a bit of pace as well, didn't he? Found Dixon, and that's a good effort here under considerable pressure from Charnley to ground the ball. And with the game finally in the balance, Mike Rush would have been despairing at this from Josh Perry. After the tackle, the ball comes loose, Lima on it. Look at Perry's arms come through, some fired-up individuals out there. Gave Wigan a great opportunity, one that Wigan couldn't take as it happens, due in part to Wigan missing a man, due in the main to excellent goal-line defence like this from James Roby. Wigan trying to engineer the extra man, Roby's movement on there, evens up the numbers, restores the numbers for St Helens, and from there they're able to shut Wigan out. No such problems for Saints. Some tired Wigan players out here at this time, having to play many more minutes than he intended. That said, another top draw offload there to Lomax, to Jones, to win the game for Saints. And a little gloss added a couple of minutes later by Johnny Lomax after some nice support work by Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. This took them out to an unassailable 14-point lead. Lomax there to Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, great offload. And a signature try from Tompkins at the death, couldn't do anything but narrow the margin to 18 points to 26. Sean O'Loughlin, I thought, didn't deserve to be on the losing side, Eddie, but he's going to have some consolation in a couple of minutes' time in picking up that league leader shield.
Yes, he is. That's what we're waiting for, and we will confirm that now, because Wigan will finish top of the pile after the 27 weekly rounds. Warrington, of course, if they can beat Widnes at the weekend, they can close to within a point. Saints will finish third because they have the overwhelming point advantage over the Catalan Dragons. If Bradford Bulls can beat the Catalan Dragons, look at how tight it is between Leeds and Catalan in the points difference total. Leeds could actually go fourth if they beat the Huddersfield Giants. But the really interesting thing is what's going to happen to Wakefield or Bradford. Will it be Wakefield in the 8, or will the Bradford Bulls sneak in there once again? So we're nearly sorted. We're nearly sorted after 27 frantic, frenetic weekly rounds. But of course, we know that Wigan will be at home next week, and we now know it's Warrington Saints in the first week of the playoffs, Phil. How important is this win for St Helens tonight to come here and win with the playoffs just round the corner?
Well, I think that they'll be pretending that it's massive, and maybe it will be for them. Any side that's been in the last 6 grand finals needs to convince themselves that they're going to be in the 7th one. And by winning away against the top of the league, you do nothing but enhance the confidence and the belief within your squad. They've shown that they can defend well and attack quite well. Scoring 26 points against Wigan isn't an easy thing to do, even though they only had 12 men on the field. And I would have to go back to that point by Stuart Field, and I think he was probably intimating about the sending off for Michael McAlorum. I used to play for Wigan, and I believe it was a red card.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I think there might have been a bit of deluding on Stuart's part. The referee, when we saw it, Steve-O, at half-time, he had no option. The thing I'd like to ask you about is that Wigan have lost 4 times on this ground this year. They've only lost twice away from home. Why is that?
Well, it's a game, it's a sport, it's rugby league, isn't it? It was sad, really, in many, many ways, but, you know, you're just coming into the playoff situation. You want your full squad, and the hooker McAlorum, for some unknown reason, goes with a late, high shot. You're always going to run the risk of being caught. It's on TV. They can see it. You know, to lose your marbles at a time when you're just about to be given the trophy for finishing at the top of the pile, and you're waiting to go into the playoff situation, and you run the risk of ruining all the season just by one swinging arm. That one swinging arm could actually just turn Wigan upside down.
Well, it could. We're waiting for Wigan. The plan was that they leave the field at the end of this match. They were thinking they were going in on the back of a victory, obviously. They changed their joining jack shirts for the traditional cherry and white hoops, and they'd come back out and receive the League Leaders Shield. At this moment, Sean Wayne is still wagging the finger in the dressing room, and no shirts have changed. So we're due to go off air in about 10 minutes. Whether we will see it or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I guess that's the pressure of being ahead in the race, isn't it? And maybe the guy in the yellow jersey in the Tour de France knows the pressure that everybody behind you is trying their best to catch you and overtake you. And when you do finish at the top of the table, then you know that you're there to be shot at, which is what the other sides are aiming to do right now. The pressure comes on now, doesn't it, in the playoffs? Can you be at your best when it really matters?
It's interesting that the scoreline tonight for St Helens is exactly the same as it was in those 2 playoff defeats last year. They changed the shirts, they're on their way. But you know what I mean, Steve-O? 26-18, it's got a nasty ring for Wigan.
Not only that, and it feels a little bit sour in that dressing room as well, because irrespective of what a lot of people will be suggesting that, you know, maybe the referee got it wrong, he didn't. Look, the referee got it absolutely spot on. It was a late shot, it was a high shot, and it was only a red card. So, celebrations, maybe, but the taste of the champagne might be a little bit sour tonight.
Yes, a bit flat. We see Billy Boston, Wigan legend, of course, on the far side, and we've got the president of the Rugby Football League, Mr. Jim Hartley, coming out to present the shield to Wigan, and it was brought onto the field by the local Wigan TA Centre, D Squadron of the Royal Mercian and Lancashire Yeomanry. There it is. That's what all the fuss has been about for the past 27 weekly rounds, the League Leaders Shield 2012. It's a much maligned piece of silverware, but everybody wants it. Sean Wayne wanted it, because he said, this is the trophy that proves you've been the best all year.
Well, a lot of people think that we should change the sort of the makeup of the top 8. Maybe we should get back to 5. I always think that to make it more important to win this particular trophy is that if you do finish at the top, you automatically go to the grand final. And the 4 teams below you then have to fight it out to say, we'll see you in the grand final. Now, that would make it interesting.
Yes, it would. Bradley Wiggins on his feet and leading the applause for the Wigan players, led by the looks of things by Sam Tompkins. Onto the field. They're coming out in numerical or positional order. He is number 1, so that's why he's coming out first. There's Josh, number 2, and young... well, actually, I think that's
Ben Flower.
That's Ben Flower, yeah. I'm wondering why he's broken ranks. He's thrown me completely there.
I think the other reason why coaches want to win it, Eddie, is because it means that consistently you've been the best side throughout the course of the season. You have to have the greatest chance of getting to the grand final if you're given this at this time of the season. It means that basically under pressure your players can run in the right positions and execute accurately.
They've known, well, they haven't known the League Leaders Shield, but they've known the joy of winning at Old Trafford, haven't they? Jason Robinson and Andy Farrell. Well, all the squad, all the first team squad being presented to the president, Jim Hartley, and to Billy Boston, and then the plan is that Billy will hand over the shield to the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin.
It was interesting that Michael McIlroy, well, he's here at the back now, Eddie. He wasn't quite changed when we last saw him. He had his other shirt on. He must be very depressed.
Well, he might be depressed because he's got a big meeting on Tuesday with the disciplinary committee now. And there is the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. And the plan is he gets the trophy now. Not so much a presentation, there it is, as a gift. There we are. St Helens have beaten them here tonight, but Wigan have won the League Leaders Trophy for 2012. Not many disappeared. They stayed here waiting for the moment. Not the way they would have wanted to win it. There's no question about that. To lose is bad enough. To lose to St Helens, even worse.
What's interesting, if you look at Wigan's record, when they've lost a game this season, they usually bounce back and they usually inflict some pain on their opponents. So whoever comes to play them next will have to be at the very, very best to be competitive. They usually make it pay.
Can you put your finger on why they've lost 4 times here and yet only twice away?
Possibly because the sides that visit...
But joining Jack, look at that.
That's brilliant, isn't it? You know, a lot of people have put a lot of effort in. You've seen the website, I'm sure most people have access to the internet. Basically, only time and money are the barriers now in finding a cure for young Jack Johnson, and hopefully people can contribute. It's great to see so many people getting involved. Even a local MP, Andy Burnham's doing his bit down in Westminster to try and help as well. So a lot of people looking at all of that.
I mean, Steve-O, you know, we talk about charities, we talk about the influence that Rugby League has on local charities. They're after $1 million over the next 12 months for this, and it looks like they're bang on course for it. Hasn't it taken off the Joining Jack charity?